from the Redneck Garage. Today I'm trying to prep the Toyota pickup truck, so I'm going to start working on that. It's going to rain the next couple days, but I don't really care. In between the rain, I can come out here and wet sand to my heart's content, so that's kind of where I'm at. Let's take a look. Now that the bed's set back on, I'm kind of limited what I can do. What I'm going to try to do is prep these two surfaces and shoot the inside edges, right? And then I'm going to pull the bed back forward and then paint it all at one time. That'll eliminate me having to paint this separate. So that's what I'm going to do, is try to get all this part prepped on the inside edges of these two. Pull the bed up, rock on. Okay, I got all that sanded down and prepped pretty much as I'm going to do anyway, because this isn't even seen. But all the gloss is knocked off of it and it should adhere well. Cleaned out the back of the bed, and I can see that on the tailgate I'm getting a little bit of rust right here in that seam, which is normal. So I'm going to treat that before I repaint it again, because it's just been sitting out here in the weather. But other than that, it's looking great. This is the 400 grit. On a DA sander that's made for a clear coat, you'll usually have a larger foam piece in between right here, and it gives it more padding and a little bit more flexibility, so it doesn't gouge anything. It's real smooth running, this Dynabrade is. So let's see how this works. I've done a lot of hand sanding in my lifetime, and I can tell you that that feathered this out better than I could do it by hand on both these spots and here. Now, of course, there's going to be primer. I got to shoot some primer on all these bare spots, build that up, and then sand it back down flush. A couple little spots on the backside, but I will say that wet or dry sandpaper on the DA was amazing. You can get these backing pads and put it on a regular DA, slow your speed down a little bit, as long as you've got a hook and loop attachment system on it. Next is using it on the door to feather all that garbage out, because I need to get some primer on these things. Yesterday I laid these stones over here up to my new little sidewalk that I poured, and Jennifer was very happy. I was thinking the whole time I could be working on my truck. I've been working on the door. If you look at the inner edge, you can see like these spots where it looks like the paint has just basically popped off. You know what? That's exactly what has happened. You can see around this edge, and then maybe up inside here too, that the paint is really rough and it looks like it almost popped off. Why do you think that would be? The reason that this has happened is because it's poor prep. Some sorry painter went in there and painted this thing and didn't sand it down in spots where maybe there was a rubber gasket or something, and then the paint popped off. And I wish I knew who that guy was. I might go and just kick his butt. Wait a minute, now that I think about it, that guy was me. 20 years ago, I painted the Toyota truck to be a service truck for my locksmith business, and I really didn't care if the paint popped off in certain places. It wasn't like a show car finish. I just wanted it to be a white truck with lettering on the side so I could run service calls in it. And it did that really well. I was super happy with it until I bought a Ford Ranger, and I needed to put a timing chain in this one, and that's kind of when I retired. I put a timing chain in it, and that's when I pretty much See why I say my neighbor's a scumbag? She just lets the dogs bark like that all day long. And it was a service truck until I bought a Ford Ranger. This one needed a timing chain, and I retired it, and I just kind of kept it around the house. I just kept it around the house as an extra truck, and now I'm trying to restore it. Found one dent right here, and I'm going to lay a little Bondo in there. I'm going to rough it up good though first so it has something to grip. So I got a dumpster delivered and I've dang near filled it up. You can see all this crap that was around the back side of the building and on the side of the house where I'm doing my work. Cleaning this up was a big chore, and part of the apple tree. I threw all those shavings away, so this was awesome to get all this stuff cleaned up. They're supposed to pick this up on Monday. A few years ago we did a house remodel and I built this barn in the back just to give me some space in the rear of the house to keep stuff out of the front driveway, because my wife said white trash is bad, and I was just like, well, I don't know about that, but nevertheless I had this space in the back. Now unfortunately it was all mud like this back here, which I didn't really like working in. So this year I started pouring concrete a little bit up by the front, and I thought, you know what, I bet I could keep going. So that's the last piece that I poured, and it's been just freaking awesome. Clean, no mud, so I've been thrilled with that. So I've just been slowly adding little sections to it. This is what I'm doing here, is this section. You can see that the thickness isn't that bad, probably 1.5 to 2 inches. Hopefully it won't just break into pieces, but even if it does, it's not my actual driveway for the house, so who really gives a crap. The drainage has worked well. I found a bucket at TSC to mix it up, and I bought a mixer on Amazon, which has been super cool rather than one of those trays with the hoe. So anyway, and if you see that black, I guess it's called poultry netting, I have 2 Shelties who are sweet, sweet dogs. And the thing about Shelties is they're very curious. And will they walk across freshly poured concrete just to see what it is? Yes, they will. So I spent $20 on a poultry net so I don't kill them. So anyway, I'm going to get going. This piece here, after getting some experience, is probably about 12 bags of 60-pound concrete. Yay. Here's my Aquaman with his broken arm. He did get the water in the bucket, so that was a big help. And it gave me somebody to talk to because I was really bored out here by myself. So thank you, Liam.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Now let's take a look at it. I think it looks pretty stinking good. At some point, it's like painting a car. At some point, you just say, I got to leave it alone because it ain't going to get no better. And you sure as heck could make it worse. So this turned out nice. It's 14 bags of concrete right there. Once it dries, look how much more space I'm going to have. When I think about pouring the concrete back here, I'm kind of reminded by the movie Step Brothers. You know, when they were working on their bedroom, they said, we're going to have so much more room for activities. Well, that's kind of, that's how I feel about this. Each little section, I got a little more room to put hoods and fenders and hanging stuff and things like that, and keep it out of the backyard so Mama is happy. So if Mama's happy, then everybody's happy. But I can tell you this redneck concrete actually really does keep the mud down and getting so dirty, and it's much more pleasurable to work back here. So I'm really happy about that. And the inflatable spray booth will have a good base to sit on. So that's really kind of why I'm doing it, and maybe I'll lose a little bit of weight. Who knows? I'm trying to figure this out. You got a 10-minute oil change place. Isn't a tire engineer someone that designs tires? Not someone that mounts tires. That would be a tire mounter or a tire installer. But a tire engineer is truly someone that would look at hydroplaning and tread design and run out. So I think we've got a little bit of false advertising going on here. Wowzer. I ended up going to a TSC, and this was in the parking lot. It's an automatic. This one has the bed. You see the roll in it. Those were made in Japan. They were imported separately, but they were made in Japan and they were installed on the trucks. The other ones, like mine, the flat bed sides that were smooth, those were made in Long Beach, California. This one's got the automatic in it. Nice little truck. Needs a little paint job, would help it out, but this is the extreme long bed. And this one is not really rusted out. You can see a little bit of rust right here, but it's not rusted out yet, but it will be. You can see that you can see where it's starting to crack on the caulking. It had a topper on it at one time. You can see the mark where it was riding, and that's probably why this bed isn't rusted out. And somebody's recently taken that top off where it was mounting. You can see the mounts here and here. It won't be long if this sits out like this that bed will rust out. Well, we had our adventure down in Spring Hill today and saw many weird, unusual things, and saw like the Tire Institute where the tire engineers work hand in hand with the oil change guys. I'm about to have a beer, but the concrete looks super, super good. I'm ecstatic about that, but it will wear you out, especially if you're an old man like me. I'm going to go have a fat man beer. Liam and I may just watch some TV for a little bit. Keep watching the Redneck Spray Booth. The inflatable ones have got to go up, and hopefully we'll get this truck painted. I'm shooting at the end of the month. I'll be happy about that. But anyway, questions, comments, suggestions, post them below. I appreciate you being a subscriber. Whew, I'm worn out. I'm David from the Redneck Garage. Keep turning wrenches.